Christ Stilling the Tempest by Mrs. Hemans, illustrated by Reeve. Fear was within the tossing bark, when stormy winds grew loud, and waves came rolling high and dark, and the tall mast was bowed. And men stood breathless in their dread, and baffled in their skill. But one was there who rose and said, to the wild sea, be still. And the wind ceased, it ceased, that word, passed through the gloomy sky. The troubled billows knew their Lord, and fell beneath his eye. And slumber settled on the deep, and silence on the blast. They sank, as flowers that fold to sleep, when sultry day is past. O thou, that in its wildest hour, didst rule the tempest's mood, send thy meek spirit forth in power, soft on our souls to brood. Thou that didst bow the billow's pride, thy mandate to fulfill. Oh, speak to passion's raging tide, speak, and say, peace, be still. Mrs. Hemans. The sheep that was lost. There were 99 that safely lay in the shelter of the fold. But one was out on the hills away, far off from the gates of gold. Away on the mountains wild and bare, away from the tender shepherd's care. Lord, thou hast here thy 99, are there not enough for thee? But the shepherd made answer, this of mine has wandered away from me. And although the road be rough and steep, I go to the desert to find my sheep. But none of the ransomed ever knew how deep were the waters crossed, nor how dark was the night that the Lord passed through, ere he found his sheep that was lost. Out in the desert he heard its cry, sick and helpless, and ready to die. Lord, whence are those blood drops all the way, that mark out the mountain's track? They were shed for one who had gone astray, ere the shepherd could bring him back. Lord, whence are thy hands so rent and torn? They are pierced tonight by many a thorn. And all through the mountains, thunder-riven, and up from the rocky steep, there rose a cry to the gate of heaven, rejoice, I have found my sheep. And the angels echoed around the throne, rejoice, for the Lord brings back his own.